Well, hello. Welcome to the Leading Ladies Showcase. My name is Diana Essery, and I am your host for tonight. The Leading Ladies Showcase is where we talk shop about all things uh, women who are leading and influencing out in the world, their journeys of leadership, the wisdom that they've gained. We talk about their thoughts about up-leveling their career or reimagining it. We talk about the pursuit of purpose and passion and fulfillment in their lives. And so, welcome to the show tonight. I have such an interesting show for you and a wonderful guest. What kind of brought me to this was discussions that I had with my guest about, sometimes we're just so busy as leaders, we're so busy um, doing all of these things. We have all of these goals and outcomes that we want to achieve and performance measures that we have to hit in our jobs and expectations that are, on us from pretty much everywhere, every area in our life. And we're so busy doing all the things that we may lose sight of being that leader. And whether it's in your work or in your family or wherever you see yourself as a leader. And I think women are leaders in many, many different ways in their lives. So what's the difference between a leader who is always doing and a leader who is being? And that's what we want to talk about tonight. And so my guest tonight, I'm so excited to have her, is Wendi Hatton. Hi, Wendi.
Hi, Diane. So great to be here. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
So Wendi and I are going to talk exactly about this topic. And let me just let you know a little bit about who Wendi is. She is a heart-centered sales coach, and she is also a LinkedIn specialist, and which is the way that I came to learn of her and tap into her brilliance. And she works with women entrepreneurs over the age of 40 to increase their visibility online and help them be the sought after experts that they're in their field, that they can make a bigger impact in their world and maximize profits. So she's the founder of the LinkedIn Linked Prosperity Intensive, which is a 10-week course uncovering LinkedIn's hidden gold mines, from profitable collaborations to quality leads and clients. And Wendi's background is she has been a longtime leader her entire career, perhaps even as a teenager or younger. She's a Navy veteran, a professional clarinetist. She's received the National Association of Professional Women's Woman of the Year Award in 2015, 2016. And she's been featured in Women of Distinction magazine. Wendi, welcome. I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. Can't wait to have our little conversation.
Yeah, so much fun. Yeah, and so I mentioned that I met you through your work with LinkedIn, and as we've gotten to know each other and talk more and delve into each other's journeys, I thought it would really be wonderful for folks to hear a little bit about your journey. So maybe you could kind of take us through how you came to be where you are today. And I know you were weaving in sort of the being versus the doing for that you've picked up throughout your career too. So maybe you could speak a little bit into that.
Sure. Okay. So like you mentioned, I was in the Navy. I was in the Navy band, to be more specific, playing clarinet. And um, it was a fun career. I didn't know anything or never thought of anything about doing or being. It was mostly doing, because when you're in the military, you do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Being what you want to be is not the priority, that's for sure.
Right. People follow rules or people die.
Right, this is
As Jack
true.
Nicholson says, right?
You're right. I mean, it was a great career. We toured all over the country each year. And so when I did retire, I was trying to figure out what it is, what could I actually do? to continue, because my husband and I, we live in the DC area, and living in this area is pretty expensive. So I knew that if I retired, I had to have some kind of other income other than retirement pay. So I thought the logical thing to do was to create a clarinet studio where kids come to my house, or I go to a school and teach clarinet lessons. And I did that for several years, but there was something that was, I was just thinking there's something missing. There, I just felt like I could make a bigger impact. And that's when I discovered coaching, and it was the perfect thing to get into. But I still do my teaching and everything, but my passion lies in the coaching, because it's so effective. A coach actually helped me after I retired lose a bunch of weight. And so I was thinking, wow, that was a transformational experience. I want to help other people do that. And so that's how everything got started. I was helping people lose weight and all of that. And then I kind of transitioned into the sales training just because of certain circumstances that I was doing a radio show and with two other health coaches. Like, I started out as a health coach. And so meeting we interviewed several coaches. We did this for 5 years. And every week we interviewed different coaches from different niches, and they gave us their expertise. They shared their message to the world through us. And I loved doing that. And so after that, I was thinking, some of the coaches I got to know pretty well, and a lot of them shared with me that they wish they had clients. They didn't have enough clients. And I was thinking, wow, when we interviewed you, you gave us so much value. What a shame. So I wanted
Yeah.
to go help them. So I had my experience from building my clarinet studio. So I had a little bit of knowledge to helping them. And so I was still in the doing, mode. I wasn't actually being who I truly wanted to be, because I didn't really know about it at that time. This was like 2012 back
Right.
then. Um,
Right.
so after I was a sales coach for a little while, it was really it was when I saw somebody succeed, it really made me happy, and it fulfilled me, because I was responsible for helping people move forward in their business. And then the LinkedIn piece came in, so that was just something to tack on to what I was already doing. And so once I did that, and I had enough clients that I was helping and feeling fulfilled, I started feeling more like more being rather than doing. And it really made a difference, because the difference is you figure out what your vision is. Like, that's the first thing. And you figure out what your vision is, and then you figure out, like, who it is you want to be in order to get to that vision. And then the doing part comes after you've honed in on what it is that you want to be. And
Right.
so it's kind of like vision, be, do, have. That's the process.
Perfect.
Right. So after learning more and more about that, it's so amazing how if you're thinking of, oh, I got to do this, got to do that, and make my to-do list, what I like to do is call it my to-be list. When you get
Yeah.
up in the morning, like, how do you want to be today? And just overall, how do you want to be as a person, as someone who wants to make a difference in people's lives? If that's how you want to be, then there are different ways of being that uh, you can hone into and
Yeah.
actually ingrain in your brain
Yeah.
to so that you can live that way too. And I have an exercise too later too.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. And I have a question about, at what point, or if you can even identify a point at which you were conscious of the fact that there was a difference between being and doing. Was that, while had already gotten into the radio show, or was it down the road as a sales coach, or did it just, it was just a suggestion that you were like, yeah, what's happening?
That yes.
Okay, yeah.
Right. As soon as I
Same for
heard.
me. Yeah.
Right, yes. So when I got into the coaching industry, that's when I started hearing about that kind of thing. And so, especially in the last few months, I've been hearing about that as well. And every time I do, I try to create different ways of being that I want to be.
Yeah.
And it helps me with what I'm doing. I don't do things until I know that I'm who I am being. And so it kind of shifts what you're actually doing. It's kind of interesting. Um,
Yeah. We're very used to, I think, look, thinking we're a goal oriented society, and as leaders, we're very goal oriented. And oftentimes the goal is, what we're used to is some tangible thing, some other thing that
mhm,
is the goal. And but we don't see, we're not encouraged or never learned to see the goal in the greater context of our life, and putting ourselves in that picture.
right.
And so we're often not we're not thinking about being. We haven't been taught to think that way.
Mhm.
And I think it's almost something, I know for me, it's something that I need to be reminded of. I need to remind myself to do it, like, frequently.
Right.
So because you're untraining decades of the way that you've done things, by doing something different. So yeah.
Right. And then you can even repeat things over and over again. If you can decide what way of being that you want to be, like think of 3 things. This is part of the exercise that I
So
have.
this is, we're moving into, okay, papers and pens out now.
So what you're doing, you are creating your own contract. And so
Oh,
what it
nice.
is, once you figure out the 3 ways of being that you want to be, then you just start saying, I am a, those are the first 3 notes, the first 3 words. And then think of 3 ways of being that are the ways that you want to be, and say it over and over and over again. And then end it with leader or woman, whichever feels comfortable to you. Like, for instance, my contract is I am a confident, connected, passionate leader. That's that's my, so anytime I get
Okay.
into in a situation that might be a little scary, or I'm feeling not as confident, I say that contract, my contract, over and over and over again, and it immediately helps me feel better, and it turns me into that, because what you're supposed to select are ways of being that you want to be, even if you don't feel like you are at that particular time.
Right.
Because when I started, confidence was one of the big things, so that's like the first thing that's on my contract.
Yeah.
And then connected, is something that I want to actually do, and this is not just in business but in my whole life, be
Yeah.
connected with people. And then passionate, being passionate about things. So I have some example ways of being, if you're not really sure which one that you would like to put on your contract. But like some of the
Yeah.
ways of
Like,
being you don't want to be would be insecure, closed, resistant. I wrote a list here. Irritable, self-centered, coming from a place of lack, closed-minded, scattered, aloof, or selfish. Those are the ways of being that you don't really want. You don't want to be that way. But
no.
now the ways of being that you do want to be would be like confident, open, empowered, connected, passionate, loving, courageous, vulnerable. Vulnerable is a good way of being. Um, let's see, giving, compassionate, grounded, generous, and focused. And I'm sure you can think of other things, other
Yeah.
examples. But if you can just think of 3 words, empowering words that would be ways that you want to be as a leader, as a woman, and who's a leader, and then create your contract by starting with I am a blank 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 leader, or blank blank blank
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah. I'm thinking about mine, and I'm just off the top of my head, I'm thinking, that I am um, um, an empowered, connected, um, um, leader, woman leader, I'll do both. uh, and I'm thinking of a third one, and you mentioned so many that fit the bill. I think vulnerable is, or authentic. I think authentic would.
Authentic, yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So connected, authentic, connected, and empowered.
Empowered. Oh, I love that. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So
All
you
right.
just say, you say, are you going to say leader or are you going to say woman?
Did I say a woman leader?
Oh, woman, woman leader. Okay. I guess you can.
Woman leader.
Well, all right, cool. So anyone listening, I invite you to create your own contract as well, and then say it over and over and over. When you first create it, you'll say it over and over so that it just flows right off of your tongue. Um,
Yeah.
and then once you do that, it'll be second nature, and you'll think of it if you come into a situation where you're not feeling quite like your contract, just say your contract over and over in your head, and you'll immediately become that person because
Yeah.
you're is getting soaked into your unconscious or your subconscious mind, and then it'll help you become that particular way of being. So
Yeah.
that is
Oh,
the
that's
best
beautiful.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would encourage people to, if that's something that you need a lot of reminders, to jot them down in different places, put sticky notes up, put them in the car, as you're on your way to that talk or that meeting.
Hmm.
Put them, on the bathroom mirror, so that you can keep reinforcing it until it becomes like a mantra that you don't have any trouble remembering. Yeah.
Right. Even in your personal life, if you're at home and like you're having an argument with your husband, just think of your contract, and it'll end up turning out much better than if you were thinking of negative ways of being, that's for sure. So
Right. Because you don't want to be aloof, in your relationships, or yeah, you want to be, for in your case,
connected,
confident, in my case, authentic. So
confident. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Uh,
love that. I love
uh,
that.
yeah, I like authentic too. So I mean if you want to add four, but four words,
Right, right.
start with three.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah.
and so, that kind of touches on something else that I wanted to ask, that I usually ask this question with all of my guests, to see what their thoughts are about the future of women as leaders and as influencers. And if we're learning to make contracts with ourselves to be our best self, and emphasis on the word be. Um, I think women are hearing a lot of the buzzwords. They're hearing a lot of this sort of new paradigm of thinking in women's leadership, um, and and I think that certainly the younger generation is coming up within that, and folks that are maybe a little further along, like you and I, are certainly getting more exposed to that. What is your sense of the future of women's leadership, and what women are or can achieve?
Gosh, I just notice all the young girls coming up.
Yeah.
When you see things on the news or something, and some crisis is happening, and then you just see the leadership even when they're young, in their young middle school age, up high school, and it's really a comforting thought because that they are our future. So they are being leaders early on, and so will get older and older, and so we will need the new crowd to come up. And I really think that there's so many smart, intelligent, um, really empowered girls
Mhm,
coming up.
mhm. Yeah.
Um, there was a there was a documentary I saw a couple of days ago about students from MIT who they created a solar vehicle, and there were most of them were girls there who had created it and had the little panels above it, and they were showing how they were doing it by having the vehicle move by remote control. And it was I was amazed that so many girls were involved in that. So
Yeah.
uh, I think the youth is really going to take over. And by the time they're our age and, the adults, I can't imagine how women are going to really take over. We'll have a woman president and all of that. And
Right, right. I think, I have felt this way for some time, that women in leadership roles are so desperately needed. I think the world needs women in leadership roles.
right.
However they envision that leadership role, it doesn't need to be. And I think, even I feel like I always have to qualify this, right? That I'm not just talking about the C-suite, or the CEOs.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, yes, those as well. But just, like you're a leader in the Navy band, and in the work that you do with that, with your current, even though you're retired, I think you still are part of um, a musical group, right?
I am.
Or a
Yes,
symphony, yeah. So I mean, we all have the ability to step into the leadership role. Um,
definitely.
Moms, for sure, um,
Mm.
caregivers, just, teachers. There are so many leaders out there, and I think that the more we embrace that, and the more that we are being the leaders, and consciously, intentionally aware of standing in that and embracing that role, I think that it helps transform our world for the better.
Oh,
Uh,
yes. You
yeah.
know how, during the pandemic, one of the only countries, maybe the only country that survived it was New Zealand with the woman president. And
Wow.
they were the first country as well to have an orchestra perform in person. We were really we were in the musician world. We were just amazed, and we thought, we wish we could do that. But we were not anywhere near ready to do
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
But
wow. That's interesting. I think I did hear something about New Zealand, but I didn't know anything about the performance.
mhm. Yeah,
Fantastic.
it was really inspiring, and we
Yeah.
wished we lived there.
Yeah. Um, and now I know you have a daughter. Do you have a couple daughters?
I have one daughter and one son,
Oh, okay. All
and
right. So
we're all
you're very familiar with watching your daughter coming up in the world. She's
yes,
how
yes.
old is she now?
She's 33 right now.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and she has done everything that she's wanted to do ever since she was in second grade.
Isn't that
Sh
amazing?
When she was in second grade, she wanted to be a violist, and that was gonna be her career, and that's what she's doing. She's been all over the world. She was on Madonna's world tour when the pandemic struck in Paris.
Wow.
So, yeah. She's been on every, nighttime, talk show, like The Tonight Show, so,
Oh my
every
goodness.
Stephen Colbert, all of them.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so we would,
That's
like,
really
crowd around the
impressive.
TV and look, so she's doing exactly what she wants to do in life, and that is, I really admire her because we were in the military, and she doesn't want anything to do with the military. She's never she's doing what she wants to do, so I'm really proud of her, and she is definitely a leader in the
Wow.
in the world for sure. So
Oh gosh, that's exciting. That is that your heart must swell.
definitely.
Um, yeah, so um, at this point, looking forward in your career and in the work you have, yet to do, what is the legacy that you'd like to leave in the world, Wendy?
Oh gosh, I know that.
I know you
um,
come on, I ask these really giant questions.
I think the first thing I think of are my two grandchildren. I have two grandchildren, 2.5 and 6 months, and I would love to leave a legacy for them, knowing that I had something to do with how they are going to be growing up. One's the 2.5 is a girl, and the 6 month is a boy. But my granddaughter, I really want to be able to leave a legacy so she knows that she can do anything she wants in the world. And you can tell she's already really smart. And so um, I just want her to realize that what she wants to do is what she should be able to do, no matter what other people are saying. And I'm going to try to instill that into her. She's a little too young right now to talk to you about that, but um, I think that's going to be my biggest legacy. And then also my clients as well. I just want them to be able to go for their dreams, their goals, their visions, and don't let anything stop them. If they run into bumps in the road, challenges and limiting beliefs, that kind of thing, just keep that vision of where they want to go in their mind, and they'll get there. And that's my main goal, is to have my clients just succeed excessively, and just and do anything that they want to do and get to it before they're too old to get to, or whatever, or they can't do it, or I don't want them to ever quit, even if they are older.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm 65 and I'm still going.
It just amazes me. I mean, you go, girl. Um,
Yes. So
that's fantastic. So, what would you say are, and I think, in talking about what legacy you want to leave, I feel like you kind of already said a little bit about, like, like women can do and be anything that they want. But what would be a couple pearls of wisdom that you'd like to leave with our guests tonight? Wendy's
Wendy's
pearls of
wisdom.
wisdom.
I would just say the bottom line is create your contract and
Mm,
ingrain that into your mind and your body and your soul,
yeah,
and use that as the catalyst for everything that you're doing,
yeah,
just to help you get in, because of the challenges that are going to happen.
yeah,
Just kind of think of that contract. That's the first step, is to create it, and then say it over and over again, and it'll help you get through all the different challenges and things, because
yeah,
you're being who you want to be. So it'll help you do the right things that
yeah.
are
Take the
aligned
right,
to it.
yeah,
Yeah,
take the right next steps.
right.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
Awesome. And now, if folks want to get in touch with you, Wendy, what's the best way for them to? I put some links in the event that people can refer to. We have your linkedprosperity.com
Hmm.
and your LinkedIn profile. Is there anything else you want to add to that for folks to reach out to you?
Well, there's my email, which is wendy@wendyhatton.com. That's
Okay.
Wendy
And
with
we'll
an
go
I.
ahead. We'll drop that into this replay will be out on YouTube, and we'll put that information in so people can get to that.
Okay.
Um,
Is my Facebook group also included in there? It's
I
the
don't have no, I don't have that.
Oh, I
So
see. Oh, that one's called Coaches Getting Premium Clients. They just
okay.
put it in the search.
Yeah,
Coaches Getting Premium Clients. And that's my group, my Facebook group.
yeah. And so if folks want to they can reach out to you and learn more about what you do, and uh, um, maybe if they want to set up a call with you, they can do that there. I
Okay.
know firsthand, working with you for my LinkedIn profile, it's extremely valuable information that you provided. I I used a worksheet that you had given me that was extremely helpful and
Oh,
helped me break down how I wanted my profile to look. And I wholeheartedly recommend that to anyone who, especially women entrepreneurs, but also those who just want to elevate their connection within the LinkedIn community and beyond.
right. Because also, even if people aren't on LinkedIn, they can still see your profile. So it must
Yeah,
be representative of what you're currently doing and who you're currently being.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. All right. So we have your LinkedIn, your linkedprosperity.com, and your Facebook, Coaches Getting Premium Clients. Speaks for itself, right?
That is correct. Yes.
There's no mystery there.
Right.
Um, so, well, this has been wonderful. And I want to also, one of the things that I put my guests through is a little bit of personal trivia. So just to kind of add some fun to this, what's something that people who know you may not know about you?
Oh, let's see. Something that people who know me may not know about me. Oh gosh. Um, I
Or
love,
something that's just some unique, interesting factoid.
oh, I really enjoy ethnic food and
Oh,
spicy ethnic food. Yes. The Asian, the Indian, the Mexican, that's like one of my favorites. So
oh, a woman after my own heart. Yeah, me
yes.
too. Oh my gosh. I think they say that capsaicin is has kind of an addictive property on your taste buds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, there's something to that. It like fires up. It actually produces a burst of serotonin.
Oh.
Is it's either serotonin or dopamine, I forget which now. But it makes it, yeah, I know. Like who'd have thought? But it's like the joie de vivre, it's the good stuff in life. And I too, I love the Asian food. I've gotten into Korean food in the last couple of years,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Mexican, and definitely Indian, and all points along that line.
Right. So my son's wife is Korean, so she has introduced us to all the different kinds of Korean food. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah. Oh my gosh,
it's
food is
delicious.
so good, so good. And it's funny because, well, it's not funny actually. It's sad because I had a series of being sick uh, from like January and February. It was ill
Oh,
3 times, 2 of which were like a gastroenteritis. So I have had to put
oh,
myself on an elimination diet, and I have not been able to reintroduce spicy food
oh,
um, for about 6 weeks now, and it is
oh,
just killing me, and I may not be able to.
oh
So I'm
gosh.
hoping,
Oh, let's hope.
say a prayer that I get to go back to spicy food.
Yes, definitely. Oh, wow, that would be a huge loss.
I know, it really stinks, but so yeah. This is what happens, I just turned 58, and I guess this is what happens to some of us. So I thought that I could just eat it forever.
Wow, 58. No way, no way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Well, this was
Mm.
such a great evening to spend with you, and have you come on and be number 5 in my
Oh, yeah.
episode list in the showcase.
I'm
And
so honored that you reached out
yeah,
and asked me.
and great to start off the springtime. Yesterday was a new moon, so that's also we had the first day of spring this week. We had the new moon, which is all kind of new beginnings and fresh, blank slate and
Mhm.
opportunities to start fresh. So
Yeah,
um, yeah, I think that we should really take the time to stop and embrace what ways we're being, and that will also help take some of the pressure off of the doing, I think, because you can
oh,
step and stand in that place, and
absolutely. Right.
make your contract with yourself, and use that, as you say, as a catalyst for moving forward.
Absolutely, right.
Well, thank you, Wendy.
Thank you so
And
much, Diane.
And thank you, everybody else. I am so glad that you came on and got to see this. Like I said, we will be in the replays, will be in the YouTube channel. I will post that information so that you can get in there, and we'll make sure that you have the links to connect with Wendi. Have a great evening,
Yeah.
everyone,
Thanks,
and I will see
everyone.
you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.